Okay,
That
yeah.
was really good. The sad song last night. I really enjoyed it. It was beautiful. And you're doing it again tonight?
No, no, but it is recorded.
It's a
No, we
once.
only do it once a month. The third, usually it's the third Sunday of the month. But
Oh,
there's a, we used to do it at 7:30 and I just had company, so I came in late. But I'm glad you asked that question about the difference. Yeah.
okay.
All right. So we're gonna go, we got you live streaming here on YouTube, and we're gonna go and open up our book, which is The Annihilated Self. I think I found the right place. I'm just in over here working away. It's like so funny every time I would be in the middle of doing something and Mike would say, "Can you move the page?" I'm like, "Oh," but it's all, it's all there for me. So it's not like there's any sort
Uh,
of,
yeah. Only so
yeah,
much shows on the screen. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. So, all right. So we're going to share and we're going to do that. And there we are. And this is where we left off last week. And we're just going to move to the next page to start anew and turn the mic over to you, Lynn Castaldo. This mic is all yours.
Welcome, everyone. I'm going to start out with the course line from the text. Spirit recognizes its radiance and gladly sheds its light everywhere. And further down it says, I have saved all your kindnesses and every loving thought you ever had. I have purified them of the errors that hide in their light and kept them for you in their own perfect radiance. So just think about that. All the kindnesses and every loving thought have been purified so that that's the word I'm looking for, so that their purpose is given. So this has been coming to me a lot. So I wanted to just um, read this. I've been thinking about the difference between happiness and joy, and how joy is like heartfelt. Happiness is too, but it's always like fleeting. So, of course, because I looked it up, they're giving me happiness versus joy. So, this was really interesting. Happiness is a temporary, intense emotion triggered by external circumstances, achievements, or pleasure, often fading when conditions change. In contrast, joy is a deeper, long-lasting state of contentment, meaning, and inner peace that persists regardless of the external situation and can endure through or coexist with happiness and sadness. Wow, I love this. So joy is deeper. It's an inner peace. That peace of God. That's why I love these refreshers. God is the strength in which I trust. And that one line, there is a place in you where the strength of God abides. That's where the joy is. The contentment, the confidence, the hope rooted. So I just wanted to share that because that's what came to me first as Mike was reading these lessons. So okay, so let's go to um okay. I got confused because um mine starts with um love. Yes, you have your life be the mirror. This is how the world is healed. Wait a minute, hold on. Yes. But I don't know whether it's before or after this. I have, yes, let your life be the mirror. Can you tell? This is chapter 14, melting into one, but we're a couple of pages into it. And even if you find the part where it says, and when I feel the pain of the world, when it enters my body like fire, what do I do with it? That sounds like it's really good to reread. Maybe that's it. No. Keep going, Lynn, because I remember that part. Oh, there you go. Right there. Go back up. I think, anyway. I'll start here. Yes, let your life be the mirror in which others see their own divinity reflected. Let every word you speak be a blessing with no object. Let every gesture say, you are already whole. You have never left. This is how the world is healed, not by revolution, but by revelation, not by revolution, but by revelation, not by overthrow, but by overseeing, by seeing beyond all illusions into the one truth beneath them all. And that's what I keep coming back to with the lessons, as in the course, the one truth beneath all of it. So Soul says, then let it be so. Let the dream pass through me. Let me love even the symbols of separation, knowing that they will one day dissolve. And Love says, and they will, because nothing unreal can last, and nothing real can even be threatened, ever be threatened. You know those words, don't you? Yeah, we've studied this, but can we really abide in the peace of God while all this craziness goes on? And he's telling us we can. Aha, self says, self now. Yes, the introduction of A Course in Miracles. I remember the first time I read them, they sent shockwaves through me because I recognized the simple truth they expressed. And Love replies, yes, the truth that you are real with capital R. You are beloved, and I would say with a capital B. You are the light that no veil can hide. You are the breath of God awakening in a world that forgot it was sacred. Walk in this remembrance. Be gentle with those who forget. Smile at every mirror until it shatters, and never cease to love even the dream. Wow. Walk in remembrance. Be very gentle with those that have forgotten who they are, to remember that call for Christ, that call for love, and smile at every mirror until it shatters. I saw a good post. They claim it's from Pope Leo. I hope so. But the post was for Lent. Instead of trying to give up something, change your words. Let your words be more positive and more loving. And I thought, wow, that would make a huge difference in this world. Love, he continues here, for love is not waiting for the world to be healed. Love is the healing itself. And now you are too. So that book that I was reading on awakening from a psychological view talked about this. You're not the problem. There's a problem that needs to be resolved, but don't look at it as if you're a problem. Separate. And all I kept thinking the whole time I was in with the study group was, yeah, that's the beliefs that we hold, the lie. For love is not waiting for the world to be healed. Love is the healing itself. And now you are too. So we're all healing. Soul says, let me digest that for a moment. Let me digest this. And in italics, love is not waiting for the world to be healed. Love is the healing itself. So there's nothing we need to do but allow that healing to be, in capital letters. If the love is the single true reality of creation, and our concept of self is the block to that reality, all we really need to do is get out of the way. Can I get out of the way and just believe that I abide in the strength of God? Can I just see those thoughts and let them go? Can I just stay in that place of joy and not look for that fleeting moment of happiness that comes and goes? Soul continues, but I find myself in this world and I feel the desire to be an instrument of peace. How can I serve in this way while still being the living example of everything you're sharing here? So that there is a desire within our heart. So let's see how love tells us to share. Love says, ah, dear soul, such a question only arises when one is nearing the end of seeing through the veil. You are so close now, for you are not asking how to escape the illusion, but how to serve through it. And that is the beginning of sanctity. This is encouraging soul that's where we are. We're searching to be instruments of peace. Love continues. The symbols of separation you see, flags, borders, creeds, names, are not sins. They are echoes. They are the sounds the sleeping mind makes when it tries to define itself apart from the whole. They rise like smoke from a fire that was never lit, and yet they seem to darken the sky. The sounds from the sleeping mind that try to define themselves apart from the whole. These symbols are worn like masks. The ego loves masks, for a mask protects the fragile self-image. I am this nation. I am this belief. And there you have the word lie. I am this body, this wound, this story. The moment the soul begins to remember what it is, the masks become heavy and burdensome. The moment the soul begins to remember what it is, the masks become heavy and burdensome. You begin to see how false they are, not only in others, but most painfully in yourself. So this reminds me of like the birthing pains, you know, when we start to see that book that I was reading, it was so funny because he gained 100 pounds and yet he never saw that. He never saw himself as being heavy. And when his friends set up other, dates for him with very heavy women, he was like appalled and shocked. And yet his self-image was so false, and it was painful for him to finally realize. And how many times I look and I say to myself, what am I not realizing? Soul says, I do see them. I see how quickly I still reach for one, especially when I'm afraid. But I also see how hollow they are. like paper shields. They don't protect me. They just keep me from touching what's real. And if anybody would like to share, please just unmute yourself. Love says yes, but even in that, be gentle. Be gentle with yourself. The soul who begins to see through the symbols must not harden against them. They are not to be destroyed, but released. You are not called to tear them from others' hands, but to stop clutching them in your own. And by doing so, you become a living invitation. For me, this is the hardest thing. You know, I want them to be gone. I want them to go away. But what I'm told over and over and over again, just abide in the peace of God and allow all things to pass. Don't harden your heart against them. They have to just be released. I'm not here to tear them from the other's hands, to show them what they're clinging to and what's wrong. Just to stay in the joy that I know exists. Soul says, but how? How do I walk in the world of conflict without reinforcing it? I love these questions. How do I live in a divided world without being pulled into the divide? What a great question. And this is, what James has been trying to search for these past few years. How do I live in a divided world without being pulled into the divide? And love replies, by becoming transparent, by letting the world pass through you unopposed. This does not mean indifference. It means innocence. You begin to respond, not react. You listen, not with answers, but with stillness. You show up, not as the one who knows, but as the one who is. So this is the challenge, to let the world pass through us, but that doesn't mean indifference. And I just received from Matt Hahn and Joy their commentary on some of it with acceptance. We can accept it, but that doesn't mean we approve of it. And this is kind of like, I feel like what they're saying here. It means innocence. You respond, but you don't react with more emotion. You listen, not with answers, but with stillness. You show up as the one who is. The healed soul does not fix the world. It unmasks it. Where there is hatred, it does not meet it with righteousness, but with such clarity that the hatred cannot find anything to cling to. So we don't meet hatred with the righteousness that we believe is the truth, but we bring clarity so that the hatred cannot find anything to cling to. And where there is fear, it does not argue with it, but becomes a spaciousness in which fear forgets its own name. I guess we bombard it with so much love and compassion that it gives it the space it needs to let go of the fear. Soul says, and what becomes of justice? What are the people who cry out in pain and need? And love says, the awakened soul does not deny their cry. It becomes the silence that cradles it. Okay. The awakened soul does not deny their cry. It becomes the silence that cradles it. Sorry. This is the great mystery. You help most when you carry nothing. You teach most when you no longer seek to be the teacher. You heal not by being strong, but by being gone. Then love moves freely. Then the Christ within you, not as a figure or symbol, but as the light itself, shines through everything you touch. And this is what the Sat song was on last night by Cerise, talking about that light that shines. Then the love moves freely, and the Christ within us, the light within us, shines through everything you touch. So what's coming to mind is all the people in Iran that are struggling and losing family members and crying out. And all I can do is pray, but that's the silence that cradles it. You help most when you do nothing. You teach most when you no longer seek to be the teacher. You heal not by being strong, but by being gone. Then love moves freely. So when I come with holy, empty hands and say, God's will be done, then the Christ within, the light within itself, shines through everything you touch. Any comments? Oh, please, Mike, go ahead.
Yeah, yeah. Well, thanks for letting me jump in, man. Yeah, this is beautiful. It's a lot about what we've been talking about, and the just coming from a point of strength, the strength of God, and letting the light come out of us, and not letting the ego get in to manipulate our thinking. I'm speaking for me. I'm this big teacher, and I have to be a teacher and have to get good ratings and really help this person, or like I'm going to fix this person or something, or just whatever my crazy ego could come up with. Just coming and asking God to help be a channel. Give me the words to
Mm,
speak. Give me the things to do, the words to say, to whom I'm supposed to say them. Just coming with nothing and coming in peace. Um, I love that where it says you heal not by being strong, but by being gone.
yeah, yeah,
That's because it says, well, my ego says, well, if you're gone, you're not there. But then it says, your love moves, your love moves freely. Well, it just, my ego would say, well, if I'm gone, then I'm not there. But I'm still my truth, my capitalist S self is still there, but the ego is gone. And that, and my capital S self there is I'm coming from the strength of God, that love is freely free. Which goes on to say then the Christ within you, not as a figure or symbol, but as light itself, shines through everything you touch. So yeah, what's gonna be gone here? What's gonna be gone here is the ego. And what's gonna be strong here is not the ego. It's gonna be the light of God. This is really beautiful. That's all I wanted to share.
thank you. I love it. Yeah. And that's the great mystery, right? That we need to come with the holy empty hands and just dissolve the ego, the ego that's so strong in me that, wants to argue that I have to do this and I have to say that. No, I just have to be inspired, and allow the light of Christ to move through me. It's just amazing. It's just so beautiful. So thank you for the share. And this is what Soul says next. So I become a vessel. I become kind of a vessel, a transparency. And Love says, no, you become less than that. You become nothing. And from that nothing, love fills the world. See, now I was thinking you become like this empty vessel, but I guess that's even something. Even that has to be given up. See, the mind wants to form something, it wants to do something. You know, I'm still in that doing mode instead of just being. I have to keep going back to just being and allowing love to move through. No, you become less than that. You have to become nothing so that love can fill world. And then Soul says, I feel your presence expanding in me, love, without edges, without effort. And yet I look at the world and see so many who still suffer. Children sleeping on cold streets, nations tearing themselves apart in the name of justice or revenge. Even within me, I find old instincts that want to close, defend, or divide. If all is truly one, if separation is a dream, then what is the purpose of this world? Why does it seem to reflect the very opposite of what you are? Excuse me. Good questions. What is the purpose of this world? And why does it reflect the very opposite of what you are? Love's response is, the world you speak of, sweet soul, is a mirror of the divided mind. It is not a punishment. It is not a mistake. It is a projection cast outward from the fear that still believes it is alone. This is the dream of the many trying to become one again. It is not the world that separates. It is the belief in selfhood. It is not the bodies that war. It is the shadows cast by minds that forgot the light. But the world, even in its brokenness, is still the place of return, a theater of remembrance. When we actually remember, it plays out every story the ego writes until one day someone like you sits quietly in the audience and says, I see now, this is not real, but it can be healed. So it's up to us to sit quietly in the audience and claim the truth. It's not real and it can be healed. Soul says, so why don't we heal the world by changing it? We heal it by waking up from it. So we don't heal the world by changing it. We heal by waking up from it. Again, doesn't the Course say this? Accept the atonement for yourself. Heal by waking up. And Love says you heal it by no longer needing to fix it. Oh, wow. You heal it by no longer needing to fix it. You heal it by no longer defending the idea that you are separate from anything. The mind that no longer separates does not see enemies. It sees only itself disguised as others. And it responds, not with solutions, but with presence. Not with control, but with peace. Even your desire to heal the world must be laid down, for it still carries the whisper of a self who thinks it knows what healing looks like. Again, letting go of everything, becoming nothing. Letting totally go of what I think is the best. What I think the world needs now, right? Letting go of everything.
Can I jump in, Lynn?
Sure.
Yes, um, it's, this is so interesting. I like the part there, it's building little by little, and it says, even your desire to heal the world must be laid down. Even my desire to help all the poor, helpless people out there, wherever they may be, I have to lay that down, for it still carries the whisper of a self, small s self, who thinks it knows what healing looks like. So it's the idea that um, I know what's best for me. I know what's best for anybody else. I know what's right. I know what's wrong. And in the workbook lessons that we've been going through this year, started at the first of the year, or whenever you went through them, it's undoing all of that the old ego thought system that thinks we know that no, there shouldn't be hungry children somewhere. We should go out and feed them all. And when they're all fed, then everything will be perfect. But we don't know what healing. I don't even know what healing is. I don't know what my own best interest is.
Mm.
So I don't know what somebody else's best interest is either. That's it's so beautiful how they're putting it here.
It is. It's, and I was just reading from my notes from last night about beingness. It's the fundamental level of being. And under all our experiences is that beingness built into each one of us, right? And we must discover it in ourselves. And he calls it, I guess, the radiant field. When we go into that beingness, we raise consciousness just by itself. I loved the way Suresh talked about the shift, a global shift, be an ambassador of light, you know, um, and and to me, it's reassuring, reassuring that this little old Lynn doesn't have to do any of it. All I have to do is remember to be love, and um, we respond not with solutions, but with presence, not with control, but with peace. Even your desire to heal the world must be laid down, for it still carries the whisper of a self who thinks it knows what healing looks like. Wow.
Yeah, it's very, very beautiful. And I also like um, the third line there, the mind that no longer separates does not see enemies. It
Mm,
sees only itself disguised as others.
hmm. That oneness, right? That oneness coming in again.
Yeah, and it's included in the line before it. If I see other people as separate from me, I'm still trying to identify or defend the idea that there is separation. And I do this a lot. I live in Mexico. There's a lot of people. I go out in very populated areas. I just see like an ocean of people, an ocean of faces, and I try to look out, and my ego's just shouting at me. They're separate. They're different. You're all separate. You're all different. So this line sort of jumped out at me. It sees only itself disguised as others.
Mm,
I'm gonna try to
mm,
practice that today. Give it a little test run.
yeah. And it's amazing, you know, it's so amazing to just bring that peace with us. If we can remember, if I can remember, you know, not the upset, but the peace. Yeah. When the pain in the world cuts into me like a blade, do I sit and say all is one while children cry? No, love says. You let the tears fall. Let the pain pierce you. Let the illusion hurt enough that it breaks open. Wow. So lots and lots of empathy and compassion. Love says you do not need to defend against what you feel. You only need to stop interpreting it. When pain arises in the presence of love, it is transformed, not denied. And from that transformed place, you may be moved to act, to lift a body, to feed a child, to speak the truth. So when the pain arises in the presence of love, it's transformed. And that from that transformed place, we might be moved to do something. Love says, but you will not act from pity or pride. You will act from a place of wholeness. And that's how it's transformed. We're not doing it because we pity them or think who we are. We're doing it from a place of love, a place of wholeness. Soul says, so I become a place where the illusion softens, not by force, but by light. And love says, yes, you become a transparency through which others see the face they forgot. And face has a capital F. You become a mirror, not of their fear, but of their eternal higher self. I put in the higher because it's capital S. You do not need to tell them what to do. You only need to be what they are, and they will remember. Oh, I just want to take a moment with that one. I don't have to tell them anything. All I have to do is to remember the Christ. You only need to be what they are, and they will remember. By me remembering, by us remembering, it will bring the light into them. This is what Christ did. He did not correct the world. He revealed what was always true beneath it. Wow. So each time we pause and we take that moment to think that we are the beloved. We are so loved. We act from a place of wholeness. Every time we bring that love in, it's transformed into wholeness. This is what Christ did. He did not correct the world. He revealed what was always true beneath it. Soul says, and now we are called to do the same. And love says, no, beloved, not called to do, but allowed to do. In italics. Not called to do, but allowed to do. Again, that free will, that choice. The age of striving, love says, is ending. The time of doing to achieve is fading. Now is the moment of becoming. And I can say in my own life, I truly feel that way I thought it was because I retired and my time is so different, but I can see even patches of when I was teaching and how I started to just let things arise. And I would look and say, oh, that had to be the Holy Spirit. So the age of striving is ending and the time of doing to achieve is fading. Now is the moment of becoming. Love continues, of presence so still, it undoes centuries of violence, of hearts so open, they swallow despair without drowning in it. Hearts open so wide, they can swallow the despair without getting caught and drowning in it. You are not asked to fix humanity, love says. You are asked to embody truth so that humanity may finally rest. I'm so glad I read Age of the Heart before this. Please, Mike, go ahead.
I just wanted to say, the very first line on this page, love says, no, beloved, not called to do, but allowed to be. Well, you read that twice, and you said, but allowed to do.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Not called to do, but allowed to do. And it made it jump out to me that it's not calling us to do or allowing to do, it's calling us to be.
Thank you.
We're not, we're not, we're not, I would have made this comment anyways, no matter whether you write it the way you write it or not. It's telling us that we're not doings, we're not human doings, we're human beings. I've heard that many, many times. I like to say I'm not a human being, I'm a spirit being. And with maybe a little bit of some flashes of human experience every once in a while. But, and then it says in the next sentence, the age of striving is ended, the age of doing is ending, the time of doing to achieve is fading. Now is the moment of becoming, just being, becoming. And then what do we become? In the next sentence, a presence so still. We become a still presence. That's what we become. So this is really, and it goes on to say what that still presence can do.
Mm,
Beautiful reading here.
thanks for catching that too. And that's probably how deep that doing was for me, right? Yeah, allowed to be. I love this. And this unpacks so many beliefs. All the beliefs that I had that, I was supposed to try 110%, to prove that I can accomplish things. You are asked to embody truth so that humanity will finally rest. Wow. Thanks for your share and all your sharing. Yeah. Okay, so we're up to soul. I feel such stillness in those words. No demand, no timeline. Just the breath of what is real. And what came to me again was that there is a place in you where the strength of God abides. That stillness, that no demands, no timeline, just being. The breath of what is real. And love responds, that is what the world is craving. Not more effort, but more presence. Not more debate, but more silence. Not more progress, but more remembrance. So what we're craving is presence, silence, and remembrance. Love says this is how separation dissolves, not in a roar, but in a sigh. Wow. Debate, remembrance, no more debate, just more silence. And soul responds, then let this life be a sigh. Let me be breath, not body. A pause in the illusion. A moment where somebody might catch a glimpse of what they are. Let me give up needing to lead or to follow. Wow, definitely. Let me give up needing to lead or to follow. Let me disappear in the middle of this field of confusion so quietly that only love remains. Let me disappear in the middle of this field of confusion so quietly that only love remains. And love replies, and you have already done it. Each time you see the shadow and do not call it real, each time you feel fear but do not feed it, each time you look at your brother and see yourself, the veil lifts. Not with fire, not with thunder, but like morning mist melting in the light. You are the morning now. Like morning mist, you are the morning now. Wow. Soul replies, then this is the only revolution that matters. Not overthrowing powers, but releasing the belief in power altogether. Not claiming new truths, but letting the old lies fall silent. Not finding a better lower self, but dissolving the self entirely. And love replies in bold print, yes, beloved. Let all symbols of separation fall, not because they are evil, but because they are no longer needed. Let nations become neighbors. Oh, I can put that prayer out. Let nations become neighbors. Let religions become songs. Let identity become wind. And above all, let love remain, not as a word, not as a virtue, but as the only thing that was ever real. Wow. The only thing that's really real is love. Let nations become neighbors in love. And Soul says, then the role we play is not a part we perform, but a space we open. And Love says, exactly. You are not here to be special. You are here to be transparent. Let go of the specialness. You are here to be transparent. Let love shine through the absence of your self-concept. Let it sing through your silences. Let it weep through your tenderness. Let it rest in your gauge. This is your holy contribution, to carry no weapons, not even opinions, to carry no shields, not even beliefs, to walk through the world so empty that every being sees their reflection in your stillness and finally stops running. Let love shine through all of it. Let it sing through your silence. Wow. And this is our holy contribution, to walk through the world so empty that every being sees their reflection in your stillness and finally stops running. Anybody want to comment on that? Soul says, it is not my own transparency I seek, but love's. Love is the activating force, and my willingness to dissolve into that love is the only thing I need. Yes? And love replies, yes, dear soul. Yes, 1,000 times over. It was never yours to initiate. It was never yours to complete. But you are not the cause of this moment. I'm sorry. You are not the cause of this movement. You are its occasion. It was never ours to initiate, and it was really not ours to complete. We are not the cause of this movement. You are its occasion. Love acts through you, as you. The moment you stop clinging to the illusion that you are the source. Willingness is everything, not effort, not performance, not practice or position, just willingness. It's the river does not force its flow. It follows the contours of the earth. You need only be that, the surrendered curve where love may pass unobstructed. Where love can pass through. Yeah. And then saying the world needs less heat and more light. Right. Yeah. Less conflict, less division. Just the willingness to allow love to go through us, as us, with us.
Yeah, that's beautiful. This last part about letting go, for me, was about just being empty, going through life being empty and letting the light shine through us. And that's basically what the course says. And the specialness, the letting go of the idea that I'm special in whatever way. And then my ego will come up with 100 different ways how I can be special. And to let go of all that specialness, just be transparent. Just let the light and the love come through me.
Mm,
So that really spoke to me in this part.
yeah. And, you know, like I was thinking, you know, even as a parent and grandparent, you know, like you tell the kids they're special, but that's not the best thing for me to do because um, I just need them to be loving and understand how much they're loved. It's a good um, way for me to relook at things, right? The moment you stop clinging to the illusion that I am the source, that to just be willing and to surrender to love. So soul says, then I no longer need to worry about how to do love in the world. And love says, no, the moment you try to do love, you subtly step back into the world of separation, the world of I and it, the world of the performer and the act. Love is not done. Love is. You are not its actor. You are its absence of the actor. So we're not to be part of the story, the action of the story. We're just to be the love of it. In your holy absence, and in your holy absence, love appears more vividly than 1,000 saints with their voices raised. Soul says, but what about when I feel dull, uncertain, dry? When love seems far and I don't feel anything? And this is love's reply. Then rest in that dryness. Do not fight it. Do not label it as absence. The sun does not burn more brightly because you feel its warmth. The truth of love is not diminished when your body or mind feels far from it. Do not confuse your felt experience with reality, capital R. Instead, let that dullness become a deep surrender. Let your longing be a soft place where I can rest. And Soul says, even longing then can be holy? Love replies, especially longing. Longing is the ache of the false self loosening its grip. It is the echo of the real calling itself home through you. But even longing, sweet one, must be surrendered in time. What you long for is what you already are. That is all I'm here to reveal. What you already are cannot be sought, only remembered. And this remembering, it feels like undoing, like a slow erasure of every image I painted of myself, even the beautiful ones. And with that, we will stop. Yeah, it's a total undoing. Thank you so much. Thanks for all the sharing. And I will turn this back to Lynn.
Thanks. That was
Thank you so
beautiful.
much. Lynn Castaldo, can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, yeah, because I had the wrong mic on. I was trying to talk earlier, but all well and good. Thank you so much, Lynn Castaldo. I am so glad you're reading this book. I love this book, and I'm so grateful for it and for you. So I'm going to go ahead.